Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Intrepid Investor Podcast with your host, Vanessa, the Investor. Today, I am going to go on a little bit of a rant because something triggered me. So I saw this clip from 60 Minutes. So 60 Minutes put up this episode on Sunday night. I haven't watched it yet myself, but I've watched parts of it where basically they are interviewing the treasurer, talking about the budget, talking about what you did to young Australians, and talking about what's happened to the economy in general. A lot of business owners are finding it hard to now see how Australia can benefit them. It's no high risk, high reward anymore. It's high risk and reward. So that goes throughout the investment area, but also business owners. And so what that's going to do is decrease innovation. It's going to decrease production in Australia. And a lot of these business owners are actually thinking of leaving Australia. And so that also affects the housing market as well, because then you're going to have more supply. People are selling off their assets, less demand, less people coming into Australia. So the economic effects, the macroeconomic effects are actually quite big as to what's been released in this budget. But I wanted to focus on one particular thing, which was these home buyers, this couple that are complaining that they cannot afford their home. And I'm going to be really blunt right now, and you're probably going to think I'm heartless, but that is absolute bullshit. You are looking at the wrong areas. Yes, there is a huge disparity between what our parents could afford versus the housing prices, what we can afford versus the housing prices. I'm not saying that there isn't, but everyone started from the bottom. And I think that this generation, my generation, and the generation below me are thinking that they're privileged, that they deserve the best property, they deserve the dream home, they deserve to live where their parents live now. They deserve to have the big backyard and the house, not the unit. They deserve to be within a 50-minute train ride or a half an hour car ride to their work. They deserve all of this. Your parents didn't have that. I'm going to be plain and simple right now. Your parents weren't living in their dream location with their first property. And that's even when it was more fair for them to buy property. They just didn't. Ask them. I guarantee you, unless your parents were super, super well off, the average household would start in the outer suburbs of where they want to be and then slowly make their way inside to the inner suburbs where they want to live. You buy, you wait, you hold until it gets to a point where you're ready to sell and you find another opportunity that's of the same price and you move. And what happens is you usually move to a smaller property but more inland. Amazing. You wait, you grow. Again, the property price has grown after a few years. You move inland again. Again, a smaller property, but more inland. Once you get to the suburb that you want, then you just wait for your property to grow enough that you can afford to upsize. So it's a long-term game. It's not one of those things that overnight I'm going to go and get my dream property. That's not how it works. It's never worked like that. So I don't know where the expectations are coming from that that's what we deserve. And I'm hearing it a lot on the Gold Coast, especially because there isn't much opportunity for low income earners anymore. There just isn't. Call it fair, unfair, or whatever, but that's just how it is. You can't buy anything for less than $1 million. And anything that is less than $1 million is probably in an area that you don't want to live in, or a townhouse or a unit, and you want a house. So then you're pushed out to areas like Logan. And then you don't want to live there because, it's not the best area. It's not the Gold Coast. I'm not near the beach. I'm not near a city. I'm not near anything. Well, you got to start somewhere. And if you're not happy to live in those places, then maybe you need to look at other options. So today I received an email giving me a look at a property that is $197,000. No joke. It's a 1-bedroom unit in Frankston in Melbourne. Frankston's about 45 minutes from the CBD. The property itself, I don't know if it was in a good pocket, bad pocket. I didn't analyze it. But $175,000, $95,000 for a 1-bedroom unit, walking distance across the road from the beach. And so you've ticked off within your budget. I don't know about any of the other things, but the location was, Frankston's pretty much getting better. It's not the best suburb. It's not the worst suburb anymore. And to see opportunities like that, to see that Melbourne has so many units that are $350,000, $400,000, $450,000. These ones don't necessarily grow, but they get you into the market. And then what happens is you start paying off that loan. So then you actually get more borrowing capacity. And then you can buy something bigger because over years, you assume that your income will be growing as well. But it's your stepping stone. You're in the market. And then you most likely won't need a deposit for the next one because you'll get it out of that property. So I just really wanted to come on today to say, home buyers, stop acting like the victim. You are not the victim. Australia is not preventing you from buying your dream property. Your income is not stopping you from buying a property. Because you could buy a property, you could buy this $197,000 property. I think you could get that if you were earning like $60K a year. The problem is actually finding a bank that will service that. But anyway, that was my example. You are not suffering because of the investors in this country. The investors only account for 30%. 30% of the Australian property are investors. And of those investors, they usually only just own one investment property. And that's usually between a couple. So it's not the investors that are spoiling your opportunity to buy your dream home. What's spoiling your opportunity to buy a dream home is your mindset. You can buy your dream home, but not now, not today. Give it time. So I'm going to write up a roadmap in the next few days as to how you can go forward and purchase your dream home and how many years it would take with the types of investments that you get in. I'm going to be looking at the lower income earners. So still a couple, but a couple that earns maybe 80K each. And so you're looking at that really average bracket. And so then from there you can see that, okay, I probably need to buy 2 investment properties in the next 5 years, and then those are going to grow, and then I'm going to be able to buy this house that I really want to live in. And again, it might not be your forever home, but it gets you into a location that you like, into an area that you're happy with, that ticks most of your boxes, but maybe the actual property itself is not amazing. But you need to make sacrifices. And I think we've just become really soft, and it's just easier to have the victim mindset because it makes us feel better. Because, we can't do anything about it. You can. There is so much you can control, and we need to focus on what we can control. Forget about what the media is saying. Forget about the sad stories that your friends are telling you. Just think about how much you earn. Speak to a broker. If you don't have any brokers, contact me. I will hook you up with a great one. And then find out what your borrowing capacity is, and from that, come up with a plan as to how you can get into your dream property. I also offer free strategy sessions. So if you are interested in purchasing your home, but you don't know where to start, and you've spoken to a broker and they've given you a rough estimate of what your borrowing capacity is, and you are ready to go with that borrowing capacity, meaning you have the deposit as well and you're close to getting a pre-approval, then the next step is to sit down with me, 30-minute catch up, and we are going to walk through how you in your particular circumstance can actually get that dream home of yours. Now, I hope that you got some value out of that, and that those victim mindset people that are listening have now thought, okay, I've got to get out of that victim mindset, because it's not doing any good for you. And that's with anything in life. There's those people that don't go to the gym and aren't fit and aren't healthy, and they're complaining about their weight. They're complaining about the clothes they wear. They're complaining that they're getting sick all the time. Do something about it. And it's not because of the genes you have. It's not because of the family you got raised in. I mean, sometimes, there are some things that can affect you like that. Those things you can't control. So we don't worry about those things. But there are so many things in your life that you can control, that you can change, that you can make better for yourself. And that is in your fitness, that is in your health, that is in your diet, that is in your income situation. There are so many people that started from nothing and built their way up by working crazy hours and now own properties and have an over $1 million wealth value to themselves. It's possible. You just need to get out of the victim mindset, start thinking about what you can control, and do something about it. Take action. Speak to the professionals. Get that advice. Start building a plan and grow. Now, get out there and start investing in yourself, whether it is in property, whether it is in your health, whether it's in your mindset, your friendship groups, or your purpose in life. That's what creates wealth.